Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. The jet fuel supplier for St. Croix wants the government to find a way to work things out with Hovensa. Balky International Airways is responsible for fueling all airplanes at St. Croix Airport, and they're concerned that St. Croix doesn't have the storage capacity to keep things going if Hovensa pulls out. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
It will affect my job, it will affect my coworkers, everybody here around the airport, because now we wouldn't have the airlines coming in.
Carlos Gonzalez has worked at St. Croix Airport for more than 30 years. Nearly 20 of those have been with Balky International Airways. They're responsible for fueling every plane at the Henry Rolson Airport.
Airplanes require a high volume of fuel to operate, and because of that high volume of fuel, we need to have storage to be able to service those airplanes.
The two facilities Balky manages currently have a combined capacity of just over 100,000 gallons. Hovensa is the only storage facility for jet fuel on St. Croix, storing well over 1 million gallons. The company is worried about what will happen if Hovensa leaves.
When you talk about 112,000 gallons of product, that is nothing.
We have aircraft that at times will take an uplift of 30,000 gallons for one airplane.
Without Hovensa, Black says they could buy fuel from Puerto Rico or the U.S., 6,000 gallons at a time.
The only alternative we have at this point is to purchase fuel in Puerto Rico, put it in a 6,000 gallon container, ship it here, and then fill up our trucks 6,000 gallons at a time.
While St. Croix doesn't have a high volume of air traffic like St. Thomas, they do have a long runway, which attracts a lot of military traffic.
What becomes a problem is the air traffic into St. Croix. Everything from commercial aircraft to military aircraft. We're in the hurricane season, and the hurricane hunters, this is their base, we may lose them because we can't provide cost-efficient fuel for them.
When the president had a trip to Africa, we had 3 C-17s came into the area. One of them uplifted with 35,000 gallons of fuel. Another one picked up 20,000 gallons of fuel. And another one picked up 23,000 gallons of fuel.
This is not something that we should take lightly. We're talking about literally the crippling of our economy.
At this point, the immediate solution seems to be to continue to work with Hovensa for storage.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
The St. Croix Airport serves airline carriers like American, JetBlue, commuter airlines, charter flights, and freight and cargo planes. Balky says if the cost for fuel goes up, they doubt the major airlines and the military will continue to use the St. Croix Airport. This weekend, Democrats on St. Croix will have the opportunity to address the economic crisis and the recent Hovensa negotiations at a membership meeting on Saturday, August 24th. News 2's Shanika Robinson has details.
St. Croix's Democratic Party District Chairman Brad Nugent has called for a meeting of all St. Croix Democrats to address the economic crisis and the recent Hovensa negotiations.
The reason we're calling the meeting is because I think it's time for the party leadership to hear from their constituents, which is the members of the organization. We need to hear from the local community. We believe consistently that the best ideas for most of our solutions come from the people that we serve.
The meeting will be held on Saturday, August 24th at 10 a.m. at the American Legion Hall Post 133 on Prince Street in Frederiksted. All registered Democrats are strongly encouraged to attend and bring their ideas and questions for discussion.
The main focus of the meeting is twofold. First, we need to talk about what are the next steps when dealing with the Hovensa situation. The effect that is happening, the ripple effect that is happening throughout the community is tremendous, and I want to say devastating. And it's not just good enough for us to know what you're against. We need to know what you are for as well. The second focus is what is going to be the impact on our politics. Next year, there's an expectation that we're going to be selecting a new governor, a new delegate to Congress, and an opportunity to hear and get new voices into the legislature. So we need to hear and talk about how this is going to impact us leading our community again.
Additional reports will be given from the Senate Democratic Caucus members, Office of the Governor, and Delegate to Congress Donna Christensen.
We have asked our guest speaker to be on Saturday, Senate President Sean Michael Malone. I think he's going to offer some insights, and hopefully he can give us some ideas about what the legislature is doing to approach solutions going forward.
Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
And once again, all Democrats on St. Croix are urged to attend this meeting on Saturday, August 24th at the American Legion Hall, Post 133 in Prince Street in Frederiksted. 3 historical cannons were discovered on St. John in fairly good shape. Take a look at these pictures sent in by a viewer. Public Works cleaning crew discovered the metal objects. Now on WSCA's Newsday earlier, Sean Krieger, acting director of State Historical Society, said these 3 cannons found on the shoreline may have been there for at least 40 years. The trees had grown over them. He believes these were 3 cannons that had been removed from the Coral Bay Fort after the 1733 slave revolt. However, the cannons have been secured at the battery and more research will be conducted to check for inscriptions. Governor John P. DeYoung described the request for a public finance audit as outrageous as he dismissed claims made by some members of the 30th Legislature that funds managed by the PFA are not properly accounted for. The governor said he was sorry to see the territory's lawmaking body act on untrue and unwarranted assertions to justify an audit of the Public Finance Authority. He also stressed that every senator has access to all information relevant to PFA funding, and even in these most difficult economic times, the authority have maintained access to the capital market and investors to meet the financing needs of the territory. Well, Senator Alicia Hansen is calling on Governor DeYoung to amend the consent decree Hovensa is under since their settlement with the VI government 2 years ago. Hovensa was hit with a civil penalty of $10 million by the EPA, half of which was split with the VI government. The local government opted to require about $4 million to be used for an environmental project. It has to be approved jointly by Hovensa and the VI with advice from the EPA. Hansen says that money should be able to be used any way the VI decides and without Hovensa's stamp of approval. And we will keep you updated. Well, have you seen this man? Take a look at this picture. Police have issued a wanted poster for Martin Isidore. Police say individuals who encounter Isidore should be cautious because he fired shots during a robbery they say he was involved with on July 13th at the Hidden Island Bar and Restaurant in Estate Glen. Martin Isidore is 22 years old, 5'5", and 145 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes and a thin rectangular-shaped birthmark on his forehead above his right eye. Isidore used to have his hair in large braids, but police say now he has a low-fade haircut. If you see Martin Isidore or know his location, please contact detectives. Meanwhile, police on St. Croix have arrested 29-year-old Rolando A. Watley and charged him with contempt of court and child neglect in connection with an incident that occurred on August 8th. Watley was arrested on August 21st, just before 9 a.m. Police said he was held without bail pending further action from the court. Here's more from Melody Rames.
Police said on August 8th, Watley took his 2 minor children from their mother and drove away without her permission. The mother told police that she has full custody of the children. Police pursued Watley to the Upper Love area where Watley exited the vehicle and took the children into the bushes. Using a heat-seeking device, police later located the children, aged 5 and 9, alone in the bushes. The children were unharmed. This case continues to be investigated by the Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives.
Army Private Bradley Manning faces the next 3 decades behind bars for the largest release of classified documents in military history. Prosecutors were looking for a sentence twice as long, and his defense team is launching a new push to get him released. Tara Mergener has more from Maryland.
Bradley Manning entered a military courtroom and stood at attention as the judge sentenced the former Army intelligence analyst to 35 years in prison for leaking hundreds of thousands of classified documents. Along with the sentence, he'll be dishonorably discharged and forfeit all pay and benefits. Defense lawyers pushed for a reduced sentence, claiming Manning suffered from emotional distress and struggled with gender identity issues. Now they're calling on President Obama to step in.
The time for our president to pardon PSC Manning is now.
Manning gave more than 700,000 documents to the anti-secrecy website WikiLeaks, along with this 2007 video showing an Apache helicopter firing in an incident that killed civilians in Baghdad. Prosecutors pushed for 60 years, a sentence they said would discourage other soldiers from releasing classified information. Manning will get credit for the time he's already served and could be eligible for parole in 7 years. A handful of Manning supporters gathered outside Fort Meade saying he was doing what he thought was best for the country.
He wanted people to know the truth, because without the truth, you can't make informed decisions as a public.
Manning was convicted of 20 offenses, but not the most serious charge of aiding the enemy, which could have meant a life sentence. Tara Mergener for CBS News, Fort Meade, Maryland.
And keeping our eye on the economy, Sony's PlayStation 4 will officially launch in the U.S. November 15th for $399, just in time for the holidays. It's the first gaming console to be released since Nintendo's Wii U last fall. The housing market is approaching a healthy level for the first time since 2009. U.S. home sales surged 6.5% in July to 5.4 million. The market is considered healthy when the sales pace is between 5 and 5.5 million. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. Everything down. The Dow 105, NASDAQ 13, S&P 9. Coming up on NEWS2, this film documents one of the most shocking and brutal events in the history of boxing. During a bout against Benny Paret in 1962, Emil Griffith beat him so badly that Paret died from the injuries he sustained in the ring. It changed the world of boxing and the world for St. Thomas native Emil Griffith, who passed away in July. Did you miss the film Ring of Fire? Here is your chance to catch it right here on CBS TV2. Details coming up next. She is the first woman to serve as Chief Judge of the Virgin Islands District Court. District Judge Wilma Lewis will assume the position in accordance with federal law, which requires that the Chief Judge position of each federal court change every 7 years. Lewis said she looks forward to working with her judicial colleagues and the district court staff in her new capacity, as well as with judges of local courts, members of the Virgin Islands Bar, and the community at large, as everyone strives for continued improvement of the judicial system. Just in time to gear everyone up for the new school year, especially fathers and students, VI Department of Human Services, Jason Carroll Memorial Fund, and My Brother's Workshop have all teamed up for the VI Fathers March and the Fathers Back to School Barbecue Fun Day. That's on Saturday, August 24th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Emil Griffith Park. The event will start with a registration around 1 p.m.
We do it because it's very important. Research has shown that fathers who take part in their children's lives and in their education have a substantial impact on their children's education and their lives. They do better in school, they do better in life, they become law-abiding adults. They'll get a free t-shirt and a badge after they take the pledge, and they're going to wear that t-shirt on the first day of school. Please come on out, fathers, male caregivers, uncles, brothers, people who are taking care of kids. It's not just the fathers, but also the male caregivers. Come on out, have a fun day with your children on Saturday, August 24th. Free food, free t-shirts, everything is going to be free. We'll have bounces, face painting, the motorcade, the karate demonstration, the boxing demonstration with 340 boxing with Julian Jackson and everybody. Also, we're going to have interactive games with the fathers, and you'll take the pledge and get the free t-shirt. Come on out on Saturday, August 24th at Emil Griffith Park. We'll see you then.
A great way to kick off the school year. The Department of Education School Food Authority has scheduled mandatory training sessions for all St. Thomas St. John kitchen managers, cooks, and food service workers. Kitchen managers are asked to meet on August 22nd and 26th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Lockhart Elementary School. Cooks and food service workers are asked to meet on August 27th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's also at Lockhart Elementary School. The sessions will be in 2 parts, and the staff is urged to pay attention to the time of training for your school. Emil Griffith was born in St. Thomas. He left the island as a teenager and relocated to New York and made a name for himself in the world of boxing, rising to fame in the 1960s with an outstanding record of 112 total fights with 85 wins, 23 of them by knockout. Now, if you missed the Ring of Fire documentary, here is your opportunity to see it right here on CBS TV2 this Saturday. You can see archival footage revealing interviews with family members, boxers, and Griffith himself to share his story, how he rose to fame. You will see the famous 1962 title bout between him and rival boxing champion Benny Paret that changed him and the boxing world after Paret died. Now, in the last scene, Griffith was introduced to Benny Paret's son. Last Saturday night's boxing event at the Mark C. Marine Center paid tribute to Griffith. Griffith's adopted son, Luis Griffith, was in the territory for the event. He presented 340 boxing with Emil Griffith's fighting robe and gloves and encouraged VI boxers to find achievement in boxing by reaching for their goals and following their dreams. Emil Griffith passed away July 23, 2013 at the age of 75. Ring of Fire will air here on TV2, CBS TV2 this Saturday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.